everyone, welcome back to our channel. I will be starting a new series called the Beauty Basics series, and I'll just be going over a few topics that some girls have questions on. So to start with, today I will be doing highlighting and contouring, so if you'd like to see how I do it, then just keep watching. Okay, to start off, I just wanted to mention that there's a big difference between bronzing and contouring. With bronzing, you just want to add an overall warmth and glow to your skin, so you're usually going to place those products on the areas of your face that you just want to provide a glow and just brush it where the sun would naturally hit. Now with contouring, what you're essentially doing is shading areas on your face that you would like to recede, and with highlighting you want to bring out and enhance certain areas. So we're going to start with contouring first, and what I'm doing is I place the darker shade, which is a cream shade. It's actually a few shades darker of a foundation, and I place that on my cheekbone area, on my forehead, on my jawline, on the bridge of my nose, and a little under the lip, just to provide a nice shadow there. With a damp beauty blender, I'm blending that completely out, and I'm making sure it blends entirely with the foundation that's already on my face. A few other things to keep in mind are the types of skin that you may have. In my particular case, I have combination skin, so I'm oilier in the T-zone, but I'm more normal skin on my cheeks and my jawline. So I'm using a cream product just to demonstrate here a very subtle yet dramatic way to contour, but I'm using a small amount of product and I'm really blending it out. In this case, blending is definitely key. So adding a small amount and then graduating to a larger amount is better. If you add too much, then it can just look too dark and too muddy. If you have oilier skin, you risk the chance of looking really patchy and muddy if you're definitely not using the right color. And if you have drier skin, using too much products and layering so much can cause your fine lines to show a lot more. Now this is another product you can use that's on the market, and it's basically just like a contour pen in a stick, and you just place that in the same areas and you'll blend it out the same way. Now to start with highlighting, what I'm doing first, I'm applying some concealer under my eyes, and it's actually a correcting shade. I've used this in my previous videos, and if you're familiar with MAC products, it's an NW shade, which is going to cancel out any darkness I have under my eyes. To layer on top of that, I'm adding a thin consistency of a highlighter, which is in a brightening shade. It's not necessarily going to lighten the area too much, because sometimes when your skin is a little bit darker and you use a lighter shade under your eyes, we want to brighten that area, but we don't want it to look too light. So with this pen, I'm using this just under the eyes, and I'm making this kind of upside down triangle shape because those are the areas I want to highlight, not necessarily close to the lash line, but just right under the eye area on the upper cheekbone area. I'm also going to apply this a little under the contour area on my cheekbones, just so that the contour stands out, and I want that part to be highlighted. This is a little trick to basically make your cheekbones look a little higher than they are if you have non-existent ones. So I also place some on my forehead and on the bridge of my nose. So again, I'm just blending this out with my beauty blender. And now with cream products, you want to set with a powder. So you start with the cream and then you set with a powder. I'm using the Nye powder here. It's called a banana powder, and it actually is really great in setting your makeup, and it lasts really long. So this is a good way to keep your makeup lasting all day. I also apply some powder on the corners of my mouth. That also kind of gives a lift to your lips and also highlights that area as well. And because I am oilier in the T-zone, I do place some more powder on my T-zone. Now to set the cream contour and the bronzing that I did, I'm using a brush that looks like this, and I'm starting with the Hoola bronzer. These are just some options that I do like myself. The only reason why I'm not using the Smashbox one is because it actually shattered, so it'll be easier for me to show you with another bronzer. Another product like I just showed you is the Urban Decay bronzing duo. It has a contour color, a highlight, and a blush all in one. So if you wanted something easy, I would say go ahead and purchase that. So this brush is kind of flat, but it's also a little fluffy. So what I'm really doing is bronzing on top of the contour. So I'm not really a fan of that stark contour, because what you're essentially doing is shading. You're not exactly drawing lines on your skin, so you don't want it to look that way. So I'm just dusting that all over in the same areas that I applied the contour, and along my nose I'm using an angled brush. With the angled brush, I'm just getting a precise line, and then I'm going to use the other end of my brush and blend it out. And as you see here, I'm using a small amount of product and going in and blending it. Because again, I don't want to make it look like there's two stripes down my nose, and I also don't want it to make it look very obvious. Now this is just a product that's on the market by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I didn't particularly use this product because I wanted to show you some variations that you could use when you're highlighting and contouring. But if you do happen to get your hands on that product, it's like an all-in-one powder product, so you can just definitely use that for all your highlighting and contouring. So for the highlight, I'm not starting with a powder highlight, but I went in with a bit of a shimmer, which is a liquid highlighter, and this is one of my favorite ones that I use. And then I'm going to set it with a fan brush. Now those are 3 different brushes you can use. I just choose to use a fan brush. And if you're looking for a great highlighting product that if you have yellow tones in your skin, this is a gold shimmer highlight, and you can find it right at the drugstore, and it's really inexpensive. Also, when you're applying a shimmery highlight on your cheekbones, you want to stay away from the area next to your nose and under your eyes because you don't want that area to look oily or greasy because of the shimmer. So if you're going to highlight under those areas and next to your nose, I would suggest using a matte powder or something that's a little bit more brightening but isn't shimmery. That way you don't end up looking very greasy all the time. So again, just applying this on the main areas. Cheekbones, bridge of my nose, a little bit on the tear duct area just to brighten the inner eyes, above my lip at my cupid's bow, and slightly above my eyebrows just to add a nice sheen. And lastly, to set everything in place to make sure it lasts all night, I use a makeup setting spray. One of my favorites is the Urban Decay makeup setting spray, so I'll definitely leave all the products listed down below. So if you guys have any questions or have any recommendations that you would like me to make, then make sure to leave it down below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!